Hello, welcome to FPV's Meet the Candidates. This Cable 10 series allows you, the viewer, to learn directly from the candidates their views on the issues that are important to us leading up to the primary on May 21st. And today's guest, Erika Hancock, is a Democratic candidate for state representative of Kentucky's 57th District. I'd like to thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Having a little visit here. And so first, we're going to start off easy. So all you do is just tell us about yourself and let us know a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you all for having me. I mean, this is a great program to inform our voters in Frankfort and Franklin County, and I really appreciate the time that you've all taken to do this. My name is Erika Hancock. I grew up in northern Kentucky in Taylor Mill.
Oh, Taylor Mill.
Taylor Mill.
Yeah.
I graduated from high school in 1996 and attended Morehead State University. I went to Morehead for 2 years where I met Jeff.
Yeah.
He graduated and I transferred to the University of Kentucky my junior year. Graduated in May of 2000 from the University of Kentucky with a Bachelor of Science degree in Integrated Strategic Communications.
Oh, okay.
Sounds really impressive.
Yeah.
Shortly after graduating, I was in sales for the Berry Company in Louisville and did that for a few months before then retiring. State Farm agent Sally Hill Stumbo decided to retire and offered me a job to come work for her and apply for the agency position. I was hired in June of 2001 as one of the youngest female State Farm agents ever hired by State Farm.
Yeah.
Shortly after starting my career with State Farm, we started our family. I have a daughter, Polly, who's 20. She is a junior at the University of Louisville, studying women's gender studies. And I have a son, Houston, who is 16, getting ready to drive Monday as he's taking his license test. And he is a sophomore at Frankfort High School. We also have a four-legged daughter, Penny, who you will see quite often. We live downtown, so we walk around downtown all the time. And she either goes to the clerk's office or to the State Farm office, so she's an office dog.
Yeah, I saw Penny at the corner of Capitol and Second just the other day.
Yep, she's always out and about. She's our four-legged baby. And then we are both members of, not Penny, but our family are members of First United Methodist Church here in Frankfort.
Okay. Well, and what do you like to do?
Oh, gosh. We love lake. We go to the lake a lot. We are boaters, lifelong boaters for the Hancock family. But I just started when Jeff and I met. So we go to the lake a lot in the summer. My son's a big wakeboarder. We surf.
Yeah.
Hang out with friends. I have the absolute best friends in the entire world just to hang out and laugh. I love meeting new people, which is why this is exciting for me. I love hearing stories. Different perspectives is something that I really enjoy doing. I love to travel.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get more of that here soon. But yeah.
Okay. Well, which lake do you go to?
Cumberland.
Cumberland?
Yep.
Okay.
We have a camper at Grider Hill.
Okay. Well, great. Okay. Well, so you've told us about yourself, and just talk about, have you been in public service before?
Politically, no. I have not. Jeff has always kind of held that role for the family, Uncle Hank. I've always played a more supportive role. So for candidates, just kind of behind the scenes supporting. So I'm familiar with it, just not the spotlight part of it. So that's new for me. But public service, with having kids, being involved in schools, I've been on site-based councils, United Way boards, part of the chamber. So I've done public service that way. But this is my first time out politically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what made you decide to run?
I ask myself that question quite a bit these days.
Yeah.
And actually, the answer gets a little bit easier as I get further and further into it. I've known Derek a long time, and when he decided to retire or announced his retirement, the why me quickly became why not me.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate in my life. I met I married my college sweetheart, started a career young, had a family relatively young. They're grown. And I almost believe when you're fortunate and you have the time and energy to give back to a community that's been so good to you, I feel obligated to do it.
Right.
And right now, for myself, my business, and my family, it's just a really perfect time to give back, and this opportunity presented itself, and it just seems to make sense.
Okay. Well, for those people who don't know, can you describe what the 57th District covers?
Yeah, I usually use my hands for this part.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
Because it's a diagram.
Yeah.
It's downtown Frankfurt. It does curve over and get it grabs the country club, and then really it's just a straight line up 127, the west side of town mostly, so the west side of the river.
Okay.
They recently just redistricted that a couple years ago, so it's changed a little bit, but it's pretty much the same as it's been.
Okay.
So the west side.
All right. And what do you see your responsibilities being as a state representative?
My responsibilities, I feel, is just bringing back some civility to the General Assembly. I think that there's too much divisiveness and finger pointing, and they're just not nice to each other, and they don't know how to talk, and they don't know how to talk about the subjects that are tough. And if you can't talk on a daily basis, you can't address the issues that really are truly important to what the job entails, which is listening to the constituents and passing laws that make lives better for Kentucky. And I think that part's forgotten. So that's really what I feel like my role is, because
Okay.
that's me by nature. Being a business owner for as long as I've been, one of my main jobs is taking different perspectives from the company and the customer and bringing them to a mutual agreement. I do it every day, and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And I know that that's what I can bring up to the General Assembly. And I feel like it's needed. So.
Well, and, trying to get people to play well together.
Yeah.
You've got some experience at that too.
Yeah. I have
so-
teenagers.
Right. That's what I mean. But being a newcomer to state politics, what is it that concerns you? About you're going to be probably going to be in a minority, and what is it you want to accomplish, and what do you see the struggles being to accomplish your goals?
Could you repeat that question a little bit, because I think there was a lot in there. What concerns me?
Well, you're going in as a rookie.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
and you don't have direct political experience.
Sure.
And you're going to probably find yourself in a minority role, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
So how do you address that, and what concerns you about that challenge?
Yeah. Well, I don't really have any concerns, because if I was concerned, I wouldn't be here doing it. I
Okay.
know that I'm always up for a challenge, that
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of taking on new roles and challenging myself. The concerns, I'm really good at building relationships and earning trust because of who I am genuinely as a person. So I don't really worry about getting up there and not getting things done. I don't have an ego in it, so I don't really need my name out there in the lights, and I don't need my name on every bill, and I don't need the accolades, which I think makes me in a unique position trying to go into politics. But I think that that's what's needed up there, to take some people to take that ego out of it. And it's a more humbling position to represent the constituents, not
Right.
my beliefs. So I'm really not concerned about that. I know that there is a concern that I don't have political background, but I think that that's a benefit. I think it's also needed. I mean,
Yep.
career politicians sometimes get up there and they don't do the things that are right. And I won't bring that baggage to the table.
Right. Okay. Well, talk about the divisiveness. You did already touch on it a little bit, but some of the questions were sent to us, and this one was about that we're probably in the most divisive time, at least that we have known. I mean, I don't think it's as divisive as maybe the Civil War, but it's fairly divisive. So, how do you think you're going to deal with that?
One thing that if you ask around to my friends and family about me is I am truly curious and not judgmental. So I like to hear other perspectives and to challenge my own, because I think that that's what's needed to move forward in all relationships, not just politically. Even there's people that can't speak to their brothers and sisters anymore about politics, and we think we can't talk about it when I think we should be talking about it.
Right.
And I do that effectively because I truly ask the questions, the curious questions. Tell me about that. Why do you feel that way? I mean, we all have different glasses that we see things through. Our perspective is shaped by our experiences that we've gotten to this point in our lives. And I think sharing those we should normalize that again.
Yeah.
And I also think that when somebody has a different perspective than me, I don't take that as mine's wrong. I just take it as mine's different.
Yeah.
and having lay those out. And I mean, we all have this. Uncle Hank said the best, that we're all trying to get to the kitchen.
Yeah.
We just got different ways of getting to the kitchen. And we need to bring that back in all relationships.
Right.
And I'm a person that can do that.
Okay. Well, have you had a chance to identify what you think is the biggest issue facing your district?
Well, I mean, clearly the state workers and the state retirees have been a punching bag for far too long. I mean, the raises that they haven't been getting for over a decade are just, I mean, that's not right. I'm a business owner. The team is the most important. You give your team bonuses long before you take bonuses yourself. I mean, that's the backbone of any company. And that's what state workers and state retirees are for the state. So we need to be a voice for them and stick up for them and try to get the raises that they have earned.
Okay.
Teachers as well. I mean, the teachers need a voice up there as well.
Well, my daughter will agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Where's she teach?
She teaches in Owen County.
Okay, good.
And so what would be the first bill that you would initiate?
I had a good friend of mine that when I originally thought about running, she talked about a bill that deals with childcare. I think our young families have a huge concern. And I had it when I was young. I mean, Jeff and I had to use we had to use in-home private daycare that we could afford. And it's expensive for our young families, and then to start their careers and things like that. And a friend of mine's grandson passed away, and she had the idea of a bill called Riker's Rules that just put some basic rules for in-home childcare that make it a law to protect those that are most vulnerable, and then to work on affordability of childcare for sure. So
Right.
that is a passion of mine.
Okay.
I mean, Carrie in my office, her daughter comes to work with her. She's been coming since she was a baby because daycare just wasn't an option.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, Sydney, my youngest, she grew up in our office. So
Yeah. And I
get
love it.
that.
I do love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we always say if somebody comes in the office and they're in bad mood, we give them a puppy and a baby. So.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. So you've already talked about pay for state workers, but what about the pensions?
Oh, pensions for sure, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, again, I don't know why, and those are the conversations that I need to have. And again, it comes down to being able to reach across the aisle and, while holding my democratic values close to heart. But,
Okay.
I mean, absolutely, for sure.
You want to talk a little bit about education? What are your thoughts on, charter schools, vouchers?
Public school funding should go to public schools. Jeff and I had the option of sending our kids to private or public schools, and I think that public schools teach a lot more than just academics. I mean, it teaches diversity and tolerance, and kids that are more fortunate and less fortunate. I just think public schools are the foundation of our communities. Taking money away is just not the answer, and I feel that the vouchers would do that. I worked on the site-based decision-making council at Bondurant that we were charged with the allocations every year. And that was that was awful,
Yeah.
actually, to see what positions they had to cut and what was more important, what not more important. We should not be taking any funding. If anything, we should be finding more funding for our public education. So that's how I feel about the
Okay.
charter schools.
Do you want to talk a little bit about legislature regarding reproductive health care? Do you think that's an appropriate role for the legislature?
I do not. Absolutely. I think that reproductive rights should be left to the family, the woman, and the doctor. I think that, unfortunately, this comes back to the civility part, that I think that bills like the ones that talk about abortion are only there to divide people and get people riled up against each other, and I don't think it has a place in our government.
Okay. What can we do to help the state generate more revenue and minimize future tax increases?
Well, we got to get more businesses to invest. I think Governor Beshear is doing a great job with that. And I say Governor Beshear, I think the state legislature needs to be wrapped in that too. I mean, definitely we have to get more income coming in. The sports betting was a great start. I definitely think that the medical marijuana and the recreational marijuana is ways that we can get more revenue in. But again, those are things that I don't know a whole lot about, that when I get up there, I know I'll learn a little bit more and be able to come back and answer that question probably a little bit better than that for you.
Okay. This one's about Frankfort Independent, actually. Our public schools get revenue from property taxes. Frankfort Independent School System loses out every year on this due to the lack of taxes collected from state government properties. What can be done at the state level to address this?
Well, it needs to be done at the state level. The in lieu of money definitely needs to be looked at. And my kids go to Frankfort High. Jeff has graduated from Frankfort High, and it's been an issue since the 70s. This is not new. I'm not really sure. I think that the questions I have is, why hasn't it been done? We need to do some better research to find other communities that it affects. It's really hard to pass legislation when it only affects one school district that has, is a small school district. So getting creative and trying to tie it with other things is what my goal would be, that I would think is probably why it hasn't happened before. But I definitely think it needs to be done. That school system is a gem to this community.
Yep.
My kids have thrived at Frankfort High. So I definitely think anybody would agree that we need to figure out different ways to get either the in lieu of money higher, or figure out other ways to tax downtown.
Okay. There's been an effort to make changes to the tax code to move forward with more consumption-based tax codes, expanding sales tax and reducing individual income taxes. What's your opinion on that?
I really have no opinion on that.
No
I am not
opinion?
very educated on that at this point. I've been focusing on the campaign. So any tax codes, normally any tax questions, I would refer to my accountant.
Okay.
But, I have a group of people that when I do get up there for things that I don't understand, tax codes, that I would be able to reach out and talk to. I mean, as a State Farm agent, I'm not the end-all, be-all, answer-all, and I just know the places to call and get help and answers with. So that would be one of them.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you already talked about medical cannabis. What about recreational marijuana?
I think if it brings revenue in here, it's been done in other states. I think it's different if you're the first state to do it. I think that other people have already ironed out wrinkles. I don't know enough about it, but I do know it's bringing revenue in areas. I'm sure there's downsides as well, which I would be open to listening to that as well. It just seems like a way to increase revenue for our state.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about school safety.
Okay.
That's a big topic nationally and doesn't seem to be going away. What do we do to make our schools safer?
I feel really safe in our schools. I think that, I think it's individualized per, I think that's something that each individual district can look at on a case-by-case basis, because
Right.
I have never felt unsafe sending my children to school, unless you watch the national news and see the things that are going on. But, I really don't feel unsafe, so it's not something that I've worried about in this district or this community, so I
Right.
don't really feel like it affects us. But I definitely think there are things that need to be done to protect our children, and there are experts that are studying it, hopefully can figure it out.
Right.
But
Well, we've been very fortunate.
we are so lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your top concerns, particularly from being a business owner, that you think that you could help out with in the district?
Just the civility, bringing back being able to have conversations and to build back that trust. I think the trust is lost up there. I am going to be a minority probably up there. Even if a miracle happens, it's not going to. So being able to have the conversations across the aisle is extremely important, and to not lose faith and to not lose hope. And I won't. I'm not afraid of a challenge, and I'm not afraid of people to tell me no, and I'm not afraid to be wrong. So that's what I can bring to the voices. Definitely, I think Frankfort and this district, we need to focus on growth.
Yeah.
We have not grown in years, and that's not good for anybody. That's not good for our economy. That's not good for our tourism. That's just not. We need to figure out ways to grow. So I think that would be a place for me to start.
Yeah, I moved here in '89 for the first time. Jeff was maybe started high school. And I think the population has changed by about 3 one way or another.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 people.
Yeah.
One way or another, and how many years that is.
Yeah,
So.
we have a big joke around my colleagues in insurance is that we just spread it around,
Yeah.
But I mean, we need to grow, and I understand the concerns around growth. We need affordable housing. I understand people's reservation to change, but there are ways to go about educating people that makes everybody comfortable, and I think that that's missing in our community right now, is just to say, okay, I understand, instead of getting upset that people don't want growth. Let's talk about why, and let's bridge those gaps together.
Well, and it's hard to go into a business around here that doesn't have help wanted on it.
That's right.
And people are struggling to keep open all their hours because they don't have enough workers.
Yep, I agree.
How do we improve that?
Well, we need more people to come to Frankfort.
Mm-hmm.
It's the chicken or the egg. I mean, where do you start? It's a system that one fix isn't going to fix it all. But I definitely think we need to get more people in Frankfort. We need to embrace our tourism, the bourbon industry, which Jeff and I do have an Airbnb, and it is always booked with Bourbon Trail. And I mean, Frankfort is an awesome place. We should be proud of it. We should want people to come visit. We should want people to do business here. I think we do a great job supporting locally, but it just needs to be on a bigger scale.
Right. I mean, I've seen crowds downtown that are bigger than they've ever been.
It's awesome. We went down a couple weeks ago. We live downtown, so we walked downtown and went to all the establishments on St. Patrick's Day, and it was so fun. It was like being on vacation.
Right.
And I was so proud of our town. So and downtown Frankfort with Susie, and I think she does a great job promoting our town. But we just need everybody on board, and that just takes the difficult conversations that I don't think are happening.
Okay. Well, you've talked about civility. Talk about transparency a little bit. Is that an issue that you think the legislature needs to be more transparent?
Yeah. I think they're transparent. I think they do a lot of things behind closed doors that seem a little, I don't know why they would think that wouldn't be an issue. I mean, if I close my door and, I mean, you automatically go on, what are they doing? I mean, am I missing something?
Right.
So, yeah, I think they should be able to have the conversations, but I think they're so afraid to have those conversations because they can't be civil to each other.
Right.
And leaving that door open and being okay when somebody disagrees with you and having those conversations to move forward.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they definitely need to be a little bit more transparent. I've seen some things happen over the past couple days that I was like, really, that happens up there? Why? I don't understand. So I get to get in and see what's really happening up there, Steve. I'll report back to you, you know?
Okay, well, that'll be good. So now's your turn. You get to look into the camera over there. They're going to turn it just on you, and you get to talk directly to the viewers at home and tell them why they should vote for you. Whatever else you want to say.
Well, thank you. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate you very much. This
Yeah.
was very nice. Thank you all to Plant Board to put this on again. This is really, really great. First, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my supporters that have supported me so far. Your belief and your confidence in me has truly been humbling, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I know that I can be a voice of civility in the General Assembly. For far too long, politicians have done everything they can to divide us, and I know that it's going to take reaching across the aisle while holding my democratic values and honoring those democratic values to actually move Frankfort and Franklin County forward and help the state move forward together. I will do this in a way that will make you proud, and I know that I am the best candidate to win in November, and I humbly ask for your vote. Please feel free to stop by my office, reach out. My contact information is on our website. It's Erika, 4 Kentucky. We would love all the help we can get in the next coming months. Thank you.
And you do have a website? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about Facebook?
We have Facebook. Yep.
Okay.
It's Erika Hancock, 57th District State Representative, I think. I probably
Okay.
should have shortened that if I knew I was going to have to give it out on TV. But
Yeah. And drop by your office?
yeah,
which
drop
is-
by my office.
and that's
Don't tell
on-
State Farm I said that. I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
And that's on Doctor's Drive?
Yes, it's out on King's Daughters Drive.
King's Daughters Drive.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to thank you so much for coming by today. I know that our viewers appreciate hearing from you as a candidate for state representative in District 57. And I would like to thank our viewers for watching. It's essential to be informed before you go and vote in the primary on May 21st, and I hope this show helps you do that. Thank you so much.